Richard, how close was that, mate? It was a hell of a game, and your heart must have been in your boots for a while, particularly when they went 16-12 ahead.
Yeah,
the plan was always for Luke to kick that drop goal, I dare say.
Well, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? It makes you wonder if it was just in the script somewhere along the line. You know, Rob Burrows, Luke Gale.
Yeah, seven shirt, yeah.
You know, there's a lot of if you believe in that stuff, there's a lot of reasons that sort of point to it, Martin, too. Look, I thought we were gone. I don't know how it came across on telly or live, but I think as a game, well, I was really happy first. I thought we controlled the first half really, really well. I felt that there were times in that where we just didn't quite get his finishes right. You know, they run the length of the field on that kick return try. And we come up with a couple of poor decisions in there. But I still felt things were really going to plan first half. We knew they wouldn't go away, you know, then certainly not that tight. I think they're really, really good and I think underestimated football team because there's a lot of experience in their team, Martin, what I think people often overlook. So we talked about trying to improve in a couple of areas second half, and then we started second half in the first 15 minutes in just a terrible fashion. And I never felt we quite got ourselves back into the game. I thought we tried on some kick chase to turn the momentum around. But I thought there were a couple of times there where we looked gone. Even in that, I think a minute and a half to go when they shifted with Inu over to the far side, and we came up with Tommy Briscoe came up with a sort of made a decision, and we managed to recover and he knocked on. So second half, when Briscoe got his head knock, if we'd have lost him to a head knock, we would have been absolutely goosed with substitutions. That would have we lost Cuthbo, and if Tommy would have stayed off, I'm not sure we could have managed that last 15 minutes with what we'd got left on interchange. I think him coming back on and the energy that Brad Dwyer gave us, who were holding back because of the difficulties of our bench. We wanted to get Brad on a lot earlier than what we did. And the input of Alex Sutcliffe, who played a bit of centre and a bit of middle for us, I thought the energy that those two brought in that last 15 minutes were magnificent for us.
I've got to say, when they took the lead on 58 minutes, I a bit like you, I thought you were going to really struggle to get back into it. But, I mean, in the first half, Gale's kicking game had really kept them back, back within their own 20-metre area. You dominated field position in the first half, but it was surprising in a way that, you didn't move further ahead with all that, field position you had.
Yeah, but Martin, I think you look at that and I don't think they allowed us to, mate. I think you've got to credit opposition that field position turn into points. And if we come up with 12 points in a half of football, I reckon that's all right. I think, again, an opposition like this in a game like this, mate, I think 12-0 at half-time would have been really happy. But at the same time, we don't think they've fired too many shots on us either. I know Evel's got through on a last tackle play where Richie mopped it up. And their try were a length at field sort of great play, real good play from them. But I don't think they were causing us too many problems either because of where they were playing from. So in a game of this magnitude, if we could have come in at 12-0, I think we'd have been really, really happy given the performance. And we just felt a continuation of the same and a bit smarter in a couple of areas. But, I thought we were really poor for that first 15 minutes of second half. And I will say, mine, I just felt our spirit got us through in the end. I don't think it were a pretty performance at all. Thought we had some great energy from us players. We came up with some last-ditch moments, and Luke come up with a clutch play like we all know he can. But I actually thought, I don't want to be too harsh because we just won Challenge Cup, but I thought we'd got some poor performers over that second 40, and I thought it just weren't a good performance attacking-wise. I just thought spirit-wise, defensively, we just managed to hold his gloves up long enough and just enough.
Thanks, Martin. Can I bring in Phil Kaplan, please, and then Ross, and then Aaron? Phil, you need to unmute yourself.
Actually, I probably better not unmute it. Congratulations, a wonderful turnaround and performance overall from where you were. Were you surprised you didn't get any set restarts in the game at all? I don't think we've seen that since lockdown.
Yeah, I'm glad you noticed that. I don't know what Tommy Briscoe has to do to get a penalty anymore. I think the referees have got this opinion, because we had this in the semi-final, that Tommy just dives and thrashes around looking for penalties. But when you look, Tommy's winning battles in there. You know, Tommy's winning battles and people are having second tugs at him. But they've just decided that, Tommy's a diver, so we're never going to give him a penalty. Which, over the semi-final and final, I just thought it almost became ridiculous. Because the fact is he's not. He's a strong kid and he wins battles. And yeah, I thought there were plenty of times where we could have won them. But again, there weren't many in the game. So if it's consistent between both sides, then I suppose that's fair enough. The penalty count were pretty even. But I thought you saw a typical refereeing performance for a big game and a final and a semi at this time of year. You know, not, quite reluctant to blow for too much, which is fine. Which is fine. If that's where we know it's at, then we can all adapt accordingly.
And just massive credit for both sets of players. This is a truly surreal occasion in a stadium that it isn't easy to play in when it's full. It's almost impossible when it's empty. But that was a real spectacle that, irrespective of how Leeds played, you must be proud to have been part of something like this and the way it's turned out.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's difficult for me because I'm looking at my own team's performance thinking, we've just undone ourselves in 20 minutes there. But just really briefly looking through the 150 text messages I've got, everybody's talking about what a great spectacle it was. It's very hard for me when you're sort of in the moment of coaching sometimes to quite appreciate that. You're critiquing your own team's performance or lack of it at some stages today, really. But having said that, I think they've done magnificently well. I don't want to sound condescending. I think what they've done, they're a really tough team to beat. You look at the semi-final draw and think, who'd you fancy out of that? And I'm telling you, from what they throw at you in attack, we're like, yeah, they've got a fair bit. You've got a fair bit to handle with them blokes. So yeah, touch wood, it came across good. We knew it were going to be different. It was different, but at the same time, as you saw from our players at the end, it still means the same. It still means the same to us. And for us, the journey of getting bundled out embarrassingly at Bradford last year, it's a little bit of a resurrection for us. I think to turn it round in the space of 12 months, real credit to our players, real credit that how they come through today. Performance wasn't perfect, but the spirit that we've got inside of us, just managed to get us home.
Thanks, Phil. Sorry, Phil. Can I just bring in Ross Heppenstall quickly? And then Aaron.
Unmute, Ross.
Sorry. Can you hear me?
Got you, pal. No, sorry, you've muted. Sorry, you can't have been close enough. My mistake.
Can you hear me now?
Loud and clear, mate.
Yeah. Congratulations, Richard.
Thank you very much, mate.
In terms of Luke Gale, it's obviously been a good story for him. He's a Leeds boy. He was released from the academy, over a decade ago. He's shown real character to rebuild his career, to get his move to Leeds, and in his debut season, win the Challenge Cup for you. What can you say about his contribution today and throughout the season?
Well, his contribution's been fantastic. He assumed the captaincy really early. We just felt pre-season just a tad too early for him. We've asked him to play, when I say a different style, not a different style for him, but we've probably got some different philosophies and principles from the team that he's left, and the ridiculous success that he had there, and a brilliant style of play. So he's had to sort of, I guess, see the game in a fractionally different way when we got the ball. He's assumed the captaincy. Look, he's not short on confidence. He won't mind me telling you that. So when it comes to them moments, he wants to take them and he wants to own them. We talked today about owning the big moments in the game. But right throughout our squad, Ross, if you wanted to do a bit of delving, we've got some really good stories in there and some really personal stories. And Luke's journey through the game, the resilience that is shown to hang in there, going through the lower divisions. And when he got to Super League, he played for a couple of teams that were doing it tough. To hang in there and have so much success over the last 4 to 5 seasons of his career, interjected with an Achilles injury and another major injury as well. I think that shows you what the game means to Luke. And he won't mind me talking about this, but he's got 2 young daughters. He lost his mum as a young bloke as well, and he holds that as an inspiration for him. And we've got a lot of little stories such as that within our camp today, which is why I'm talking about the spirit that we're all aware of each other's stories and backgrounds. And for Luke, you know, his name is on the Challenge Cup, the winning captain of the club. Your name goes on the plaque, so it's on there forever. And you know, I'm just really happy for him, and so glad that we signed him.
Thanks very much, Ross. Aaron Bauer, and then Stephen Hughes.
Hi, Rich. Congratulations.
Thanks, Aaron, mate.
You mentioned a bit of a resurrection for the club. I mean, you've had your fair share of critics over the last 12 to 18 months since that day at Bradford. Have you been motivated by that criticism and motivated by, as you say, some of these stories knocking around the camp and guys trying to prove people wrong and things like that?
Yeah, I know where you're coming from with question, Aaron, but you have to sort of understand this, that I've said before this week, you know, I don't think I'm ever going to win the PR battle. I think if anybody could look at where we were 12 months ago and where we are now, and the progress of some of us younger players, we've got a cup on the table. I think people that want to come out and criticise, then unfortunately, mate, they're just going to lurk in the backgrounds and use any stick they can to beat me with. For me personally, you know, I became. Some of it is just, how can I say, social media driven. You know, Eamon McManus. I love Eamon McManus. He's such an intelligent bloke. I think he described social media as an open sewer last year. That's why when you guys ask me questions about what people are saying on social media, I've not got much time for it. But social media generally, Aaron, with the greatest respect, I've been in the game 17, 18 years, and I'm being judged by people who have got less knowledge than me about rugby league. So I think Marco Pierre-White handed his Michelin stars back in because he said he was fed up of getting critiqued by people that knew less than him. So I just keep a silence on it, mate. And I trust that the players that I've coached, and I'm talking State of Origin players, Australian internationals, Great Britain internationals, do my talking for me. And I think that's why some clubs value what I can do for them as a coach, whatever role that's been. You know, I'm not precious about being an head coach. I just love working in the game at whatever level, and I'm really comfortable with that. So you get what I'm saying here, mate, that I've had messages from former Australian internationals and State of Origin guys this morning. And I think it's the impression you make on them guys rather than trying to win a social media battle that has probably allowed me to be sat here today.
Can I just ask you about Richie Myler quickly? You know, Lance Todd winner, he had that big error that looked like it might be costly, but he dusted himself off and he was involved in Ash's second try. What can you say about him?
Again, another terrific story for us. Richie would have copped his fair share of criticism last year, but I've coached Richie before. I've had a fairly long-standing relationship with Rich, and when we were very open about the reasons we wanted to sign Luke Gale, and it could have gone one or two ways. But I see the value of having a person and a player like Richard. He's experienced. He's tough. I don't think people give him credit for just actually how tough he is, and he was prepared to adapt. And look, he nearly signed for Toronto, and I think all the stuff that's been happening with Toronto has allowed us to nip in and sign him again. And I just can't say how pleased I am. Pleased for him today, pleased for him on a personal level. So much admiration for the way he's attacked this year, and he's become such an important team man and a popular team man for us this year that, you know, the respect he's carries within our group is massive, Aaron.
Yes. Thanks, Aaron. Stephen Hughes.
Hi, Richard. Congratulations.
Hey, Stephen, sorry for jumping down your neck overnight, but I think you understand why I did with that social media question.
Yeah,
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Apologies, mate. Apologies.
It's fine, mate. Don't worry about it.
Sorry, bud.
No. Just wanted to ask you, like, obviously you touched on it before, but you got players there like Brad Dwyer, Luke Gale, who have lost at Wembley before. Was it also important to for them to learn from those experiences, and do you think it helped them get over the line?
Well, I don't know if this is a fact, but I'd assume that they've got a fair bit more big game experience than us in the team. When you look, you know, when you start going down there, I think they, as I say, I think they could get under the radar a little bit. Hang on a minute here. This is chock-a-block with people that have played finals, played NRL, played international football. If I did have a concern, our prep's gone great this week. And if I did have a concern this weekend was turning up for the big occasion. And I actually felt for our group that the lack of crowd actually could help us, because, you know, the pressure that a crowd can bring sometimes and the nervousness, that had disappeared. But look, I thought we got a bit of that in our performance today. I thought we had a number of kids that weren't where they have been over the last few weeks. And I think the whole build-up and occasion and a little bit of anxiety got to them a little bit in that. And that'll be a terrific learning curve for us moving forward to get it under the belt. But I did mention to Luke in the week, do you know the captain's name goes on the cup? Not that he needed any more motivation or determination. And he was like, oh, does it? Like, yeah. You know, they engrave your name on the cup if we win. So I don't think there were any more motivated guy than him. Really disappointed we couldn't get Dwyer on earlier. But he's been great. He handled his bench time fantastic. And he has undoubtedly learned from last time he came with Warrington when I was part of that coaching staff where he came on and had a little bit of an error stream 15, 20 minutes. So, yeah, for sure. There's some moments in there and some players in there that I thought their experience were crucial at times for us.
And for you personally, it was your first, obviously your first major trophy as a head coach.
Yeah.
How does it feel? Like, has it quite sunk in yet?
No, not yet. No, not yet. There's one thing I'm really proud of. It's the fact that, you know, myself and my father, we've become the first people to do this. And I think from a little rugby mining village, I think that's a wonderful story for us and as family. Now, I mentioned before in the build-up to the week, it's poignant for us because when Featherstone won in 1983, my mother she had cancer for 12 months. And coming out to win that trophy and then getting the Man of Steel like he did were at the time when my mother went into remission. Subsequently, he came back to get her a few years later. So you could see from a family, personal point of view, why I got a little bit emotional at the end of the game and why on a personal level it means that much. It's certainly nothing about proving myself as a head coach. I just think there's some family reasons in there and you know, I just said to the guys, they can never take this away from you. Never, ever take this away from you. And of all the clubs to win it at, Leeds have got a strong tradition and history of looking after their own people. So if we can't celebrate in the way we normally would tonight, we know there'll be a 5-year, 10-year, 15-year reunion where Phil Kaplan will get us down and organise a great day for us.
Thanks very much,
All
Stephen.
Right,
Richard Shaw, right? Did I see you with your hand
Can
up?
I just say, just shouting over Richard Agar's shoulder here. Luke Gale's here with us. Can we make this the last one?
Okay. Any further questions for Richard?
I'm going to say the pressure's on me now, isn't it?
Here we go.
Needs to be a good question, this, pal.
I know it does, doesn't it? This is the problem now. Pressure's on. Well, you've just mentioned 1983. Obviously, it's going to take some time to settle in, but what's the feeling like compared to how it was then, and what will you be telling people in the future about what this day meant to you?
Well, look, I'm sort of coming down from a very nervous and anxious 40 minutes, so it's just not sunk in yet at this moment in time. It's a long time ago. It's 1983. I think I was 10, 11 years old, something like that. I seen BBC my bizarre haircuts out on the vision before the game. So no, it's not sunk in yet. But really, I'm going to be blatantly honest. It's not about me. It's never been about me, and I've not given too much thought to lifting the cup and me and my dad and all that. Honest, hand on heart, I just wanted our blokes to win. I just wanted our blokes to win for them to get the feeling. I've experienced it before. I just feel the way they've stuck together, the way we've rode out some good and bad times together, I just really wanted our guys to win for them, not for me.
Thanks, Richard. Any last questions, or if not, we will
wrap it up. Come on.
Come on. It's over. It's on. Go and celebrate. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Let's get that vengeance going. Can I make one public service announcement, folks?